I've got some good news for you. I am the last speaker. And I know you're all getting hungry. I mean, there have been some impressive firsts today. And I've been witness to Federation Congresses for far longer than I care to remember. But I think this is the first time I've ever seen a TED Talk environment like this, and it is excellent. It is also the first time I've ever seen an audience have to sit for 4 hours without a coffee break. I mean, honestly, I think a round of applause for all of you for hanging in there. I am not actually from the volleyball world. I'm from outside, but I was asked to try and come in and sort of sum up what you've been hearing, to put into context some perspective of what all this means. And so if you'll forgive me, I've probably got longer notes that I've been sort of carefully writing down, listening to all of the presentations. But you know, through my long career in the sports movement, I've had the honor to work across, 22 Winter and Summer Olympic Games, a number of FIFA World Cups. I spent years alongside Bernie Ecclestone running Formula One, worked with creating and inventing new events from the very first World Athletics Championships to the IPL cricket in India. And I've seen incredible change, incredible innovation. And I've seen how sports leaders and governing bodies have at times struggled with that innovation, how they've struggled to keep up with the times, never mind plan for the future. I've seen a lot of talk, often very well-meaning, but not always followed through with real action. I've followed your presentations over the last 3 days, from your Congress to today's summit. And I've got to say, listening to presentation after presentation, no matter how good they are, no matter how important the content is, you sometimes lose track. You sometimes lose perspective of how far you've come on this journey. And you need to take a step back and understand just how far you have come, how remarkable this transformation has been. And that is something, I have been, from the sidelines, witness to over the last decade. And President Grasser, I know in your opening remarks, you said, change stimulates me. The impossible feeds me. Dream big, believe. Well, President, you sure have delivered. And how? What I've just witnessed over the last 3 days is truly remarkable. And I believe one of the greatest transformations I have seen of any sport, and creating a stage to take volleyball forward to unimaginable heights. The transformation since 2012, when you took over, has been truly impressive. And you really have to look back as to how far you have come over those 12 years. I don't think there is any sports federation on the Olympic program that has come in close to that level of transformation. The way you've embraced innovation, the way you've continued to push the boundaries. You've not been shy, you've not been timid, you've been brave, at times very brave. But it's not just about playing with the schedule, launching new competitions or cancelling other events. It has been about real structural change to the overall governance and management structures to create an organization that is truly fit for purpose for the 21st century and ready to serve the needs of the global volleyball community. Let's just give a reference point from outside. No, I mean, well, we'll get the applause going later on for the final credit. But it's all very well us clapping ourselves on the back, saying, job well done. But what does the outside world see? You know, there are over 40 international sports federations on the Olympic program, winter and summer. But there is only one single federation amongst those 40 that the financial business community, private equity, chose to invest in. And you've got to ask yourself the question, how was it that Europe's largest private equity company chose volleyball over the other 39 sports? In their view, only one federation had the underlying business dynamics and had the vision of leadership that it was worth them putting $100 million investment in. And volleyball's partnership with CVC was truly groundbreaking and a real indication of the vision of the leadership. To be bold, to step outside of the box, and to create the fundamental foundations for the future. You know, CVC, as Europe's largest private equity firm, saw something in volleyball and the federation leadership. And you've got to, again, ask yourself, how was it you were the only federation that they stepped up? And it was a first, and it was a major, major groundbreaking move. And I think the creation of Volleyball World as the commercial arm of your sport has become a model that many other federations are now exploring. But you didn't stop there. Earlier this year, you created and launched the Volleyball Foundation, and along with the federation, creates the third pillar going forward. The governing body, Volleyball World, the commercial arm, and Volleyball Foundation, you know, promoting the social development of the sport around the world. To my mind, that is by far the best structure I have seen of any of the 40 Olympic sports federations. So, credit. And, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, yes, at times it is a business. Just look at the bottom line. Look at the results. You know, the numbers tell the story. You know, the value of Volleyball World as a business has nearly tripled in 5 years. That's the outside investors looking at, this is working, this is delivering. Your own resources and foundation has nearly doubled. And very ambitious, but very realistic goals over the next 5 years that is only going to lead to more investment in your sport, in your grassroots, in the building of your teams. A lot of the presentations today made reference to Paris. And I mean, that was clearly a real validation because you were competing against 29 other sports. You know, the venue of beach, you know, at the foot of the Eiffel Tower was, of course, unique and magical. But let's be honest, the venue of the indoor volleyball wasn't that special. And yet, every single event that was staged in there had the most magical atmosphere of all of the sports at the games. And let's be very clear, that didn't happen by accident. No sport has created an atmosphere, a connection, an active participation with a spectator base in the way that volleyball has. Yes, it's sport first and foremost, but it is also brilliant entertainment. And that's what you have to provide in order to engage fans, to engage viewers. No sport has invested as much in creating that public experience in the surrounds of the venues, the lead up, the education and showcasing you gave to fans. You were the only federation in Paris to do that. I think Kit McConnell, the IOC sports director, referenced it. I wonder how many federations are going to copy you in Los Angeles and do exactly the same thing. But you were the first to innovate. You were the first to go out there. The investment that you've been making in presentation to create that magical atmosphere. And creating magic is something that I have really been passionate about and have the greatest respect to Fernando Lima, who has brought an understanding of the simple changes that bring the magic. It may be a simple idea, but it doesn't happen by magic. And that has really started to create real dividends in terms of how the sport is seen by broadcasters, by sponsors, by the media. I mean, you are hot. I mean, yes, some of the new urban sports in Paris were hip, but nothing came close to the atmosphere that you created in your two venues. Nothing. Let me turn and look at the future and how I see things changing. And I believe your sport and all of the presentations we've been hearing the last couple of days show that you really are perfectly placed to embrace the future in a world that is changing at a pace that nobody is prepared for. You know, the world of broadcasting is undergoing fundamental change. The world of sponsorship is undergoing fundamental and radical change. The world of event hosting and the investment that governments are prepared to make is changing. The importance of social development and the expectation of the public to be seen as reinvesting back into the community is changing. Everything is changing. And there was a great motto of the IOC president that he lived by: change or be changed. And much better that you are deciding how you want to change than being caught on the back foot. So the profile of volleyball is attracting more and more nations to explore the benefits of hosting and investing in your events. The transformation of the VNL, I think, has opened up new opportunities for nations to host a dynamic event with a unique fan engagement, and the opportunity to create annual events, not just as a one-off. Because if a government and a country is going to step up to the mark, they don't want to put all the investment in, one-off, then, oh, it's finished. The ability to build year on year is where you will really be able to create iconic opportunities. And perhaps one of the biggest takeaways for me in Paris was whether it was a simple fan, kids with family, leading politicians or business leaders, they all attended an event, probably for the first time that they were seeing volleyball. And they all said, they had no idea how magical this was, how special it was. Yeah, you're from the volleyball community. It's your bread and butter. It's how you live. But if you haven't been and you're attending the event for the first time, it was, I had no idea. How can I come back? Not sure they were saying that with a lot of the other sports. Yes, it was a magical experience, but then they wanted to go on to the next event. No. In Paris, they all wanted to come back to beach and volleyball. Nothing had prepared them. And so the power of that. And I was impressed with the story of the Philippines. Transformation like that in 2 years? Nobody's doing that. And it also, I think, gives hope to every single nation that even if you're at the back of the league, you've got something very powerful that you can build on, that you can engage with. And the increase in hosting is also driven by an expanding global TV audience. And the Olympics proved the ratings potential of volleyball, encouraging more and more broadcasters to now experiment with VNL and beach and your other events. But as I said, the broadcast world is undergoing radical transformation, a bigger transformation than we have seen at any time in the last 5 decades. And I began negotiating my first TV rights in the mid-70s. It is no longer, though, just about the traditional broadcaster as the conduit to taking your events to the fans. Streaming and broadcasting directly to the fan is going to become a key part of every federation, every club's portfolio. And here, you've built an incredibly strong asset in the foundation with Volleyball World. It's got impressive results. I mean, 1.5 million viewers. Yeah, let's be honest, that's only a small fraction of the big TV audiences when you're getting a World Championships. But you are now in control. You are now servicing the fan base. And I think the suggestion from Finn Taylor and Volleyball World to make available Volleyball World TV free of charge to all of your members is a brilliant idea. And I would really encourage you to embrace that, because at the end of the day, what is your responsibility? It is to serve your fan base. It is to grow it. And you've again now got another tool which is really fit for purpose, and I think you can do incredible things with that. Several people today have also talked about the importance of storytelling. You know, when my friend John Tibbs walked onto the stage and started talking about Meghan, and I'm thinking, where the hell is he going with this story? You know, who does Meghan sort of one of Barry's long-lost daughters, or where are we going? No. But I watched the room, and I watched everybody just, you could hear a pin drop when he gave the concluding remark of how there are tens of thousands of Meghans out there. And storytelling is incredibly powerful. I mean, I spent more than a decade on the board of Formula One. And I tell you, the Drive to Survive series, the story behind the scenes with Netflix, has transformed Formula One's audience in other nations and the nations around the world. And the presentation from your Slovenian colleagues, brilliant. All of you, experiment, get out and tell the storytelling. And it's no longer that difficult. I mean, look at what you're doing in India with a single iPhone and a tripod. You've got incredible content and human stories. What about some unreachable sports star? These are from your community. So volleyball is incredibly well placed to embrace this new mindset that marketeers are looking for. Sponsors are no longer narrowly focused on where's my eyeball and my hospitality ticket. They want an association with an image, with a brand. You've got, with the association of family, the values, you're uniquely placed to really build on that. And when you extend those brand values to the world of the Volleyball Federation and their grassroots programs, it's unbelievably powerful and strong. I mean, the story from Assam, one of the best grassroots development solidarity stories I've ever seen. And it's real. And it can be easily replicated by everybody. And then to go out and tell that story. And that's, I mean, that's part of the beauty and the power of you've got. You've also not been shy to embrace technology, from Hawkeye, that's now standard, but ensuring fairness, to the potential power of data and artificial intelligence to serve and grow your sport. I mean, everywhere you turn today, people are talking about artificial intelligence, and I'm not sure that most people have any idea what it means. But it will transform. And just to give us a context, a couple of weeks ago had the privilege to meet a gentleman called Jensen Huang, who is the founder of NVIDIA. possibly one of the most valuable companies now in the world, and he summed up what AI is going to do. He said, the impact of AI on humanity will be far, far greater than anything from the Industrial Revolution. And within the sporting context, AI is going to help athletes and how they engage, how you find new athletes. It's going to teach coaches how to coach. It's going to transform the management and organization. So, I mean, it's, again, an incredibly powerful tool, and you have been embracing it. So, you've not been shy. Your leadership has not been timid. And, Ari, I mean, you've lived up to that promise of dream big, believe, and brave. In my humble opinion, the sport of volleyball today is clearly far stronger than it has ever been. And yet, in some ways, it's still only just the beginning of realizing your full potential. And Fabio, your vision, phase 3, set forward clear goals. You're going to maintain the momentum that has been built up over the last 12 years, and I'm going to be fascinated to sort of be back here in another 12 years looking at how far you've come. You know, the last 3 days of presentations have at times sort of pulled back the curtain and given you a glimpse into the future. And it's been, I think it's an unbelievably exciting future, so embrace it. President Grassi, you've led this transformation, and you've lived up to that promise and more. And you now pass the baton on to one of the most energetic, inspirational sports leaders I've had the honor to meet and work with over my long career. So I think to both of them, but to be fair, I think you should also all give yourself a round of applause and congratulations, because it is all of the federations, all of the teams. It's also down to the grassroots. You can't sit in an ivory tower in Lausanne and sort of wave the magic wand and think it's going to happen. No, everybody has to buy in and be committed. But boy, have you got something incredibly precious and powerful. And I think you've got this remarkable asset. You know, a sport that represents the ultimate in teamwork, a sport that can be played anywhere, by anyone, and with no equipment. The potential is literally unlimited. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.